Well, in the spotlight tonight, across hundreds of years and thousands of miles, Cleveland Museum of Art's latest exhibit takes you to Cambodia, the sacred mountain home to sculptures of 8 Hindu gods, including Krishna, an incarnation of Vishnu. The Cleveland Krishna is the star of the new exhibit, and the sculpture has been part of CMA's collection since the 70s. Revealing Krishna tells the stone's story, but there's a whole other story of collaboration and partnership that made the must-see show possible.
If you've seen the Cleveland Krishna before, you've never met him like this.
Honestly, the most frequent comment that I hear from visitors is how moving and emotional the experience is here.
The masterwork that first came to town in 1973 as a fragment has now come to life at the Cleveland Museum of Art. Sonya Rhie Mace walked us through her exhibit, which takes us virtually to Phnom Da, the sacred mountain in Cambodia where our Krishna first stood.
The new turn in museums now, and even in the field of art history overall, is more about context. So what did he mean for the people who made this sculpture? What was the context? This is what I, as a curator now, am trying to bring forward.
With cutting-edge technology, we meet Krishna as an 8-year-old telling his own story. The mixed reality Microsoft HoloLens tour is voiced by a Cambodian young girl, taking us through the sculpture's journey to Cleveland. Then, the highlight, the Cleveland Krishna and a second on loan from the National Museum of Cambodia. New collaborative research across continents showed the two needed to swap legs.
I think actually this is the first time these two sculptures have been seen together side by side, because even when they were installed on the mountain, they were in individual temples.
The restoration took 7 years and the work of all sorts of Cleveland partners.
We're all going to be broken in some way, and then to have people try to connect you and reassemble you and reunite you with your divine family.
The exhibit brings together, albeit digitally, all 8 gods of Phnom Da. Many of the physical sculptures on display have never been loaned before.
Created 15 centuries ago.
The familiar voice of Angelina Jolie
Today, they are all in public museums around the world.
Narrates the gods' timeline. CMA director Bill Griswold.
Every aspect of this exhibition has involved collaboration with Case Western Reserve University, with ThinkBox, also with our colleagues in Cambodia, who simultaneously, of course, were contemplating the restoration of the Phnom Penh Krishna.
That special partnership made this all possible. The bond grew in 2015 after CMA returned the sculpture of another Hindu god, Hanuman, to its rightful owners when details emerged showing it had likely been illegally removed from Cambodia during a period of civil war.
We and other museums, but the Cleveland Museum of Art in particular, are completely committed to transparency with respect to the origin of the works of art in our collection.
It's a show of respect, but Griswold says it's also the future of museums, where art is not about ownership.
I think that the future is more about access and more about exchange, and that this exhibition and this relationship can serve as a real model for the future.
Revealing Krishna is on exhibit until the end of January. Then it will move to DC in a smaller form. You do need reservations, especially for those mixed reality headsets. Jimmy, that's the first time I have worn one of those and gone through that. Yeah. It is so fascinating, and I think the narrative really sets up that moment when you see the sculptures side by side, and they're massive, how impressive it all is.
I want to ask you, you were a world traveler before we started wearing.
Pre-pandemic.
Yeah, pre-pandemic. I mean, Sarah went around the world. Did you ever go to Cambodia?
No.
Would you want to go to Cambodia?
Absolutely. After seeing this.
After seeing this, you would want to go to Cambodia.
This is a very remote, very hard to get to place, but just fascinating.
All right. Thank you, Sarah.